It's time for Bull Sessions, brought to you by NeCo Seed, your weekly hour-long excursion into all things agricultural, from farming to livestock, soil to seed, equipment to rural life. Now here's your hosts, Randy Baker and agronomist Brad Law.
Bradley, do you know Bull Sessions is back on the air?
I know. That's why we're at the studio.
New year. You dealing with it okay?
Yes. You know, we got new year, new editions, all good stuff.
New editions.
Yes.
Was that your key word to me?
Yes, that was a key word.
Bradley, what do you mean by new edition?
Well, new editions, back was it on the, now you're making me look bad, Randy. Back on
That's
the 7th.
not hard, Bradley.
Well, that we need to put that once on the calendar that you finally got to do that. But back on the 7th of January,
yeah,
we added a new addition to our family.
Cow had a calf?
No. And one of those things that when you relate any of this to cows and calves, it's not going to be very good for your health unless she brings it up.
No, it don't. So
we added Sawyer Bradley.
Sawyer Bradley.
To the family. He was 9 pounds, 9 pounds, 9 ounces, 14.5-inch head, 14-inch chest, and 21 inches long.
You've got a farm hand already.
Well, we're trying. And Mama didn't take no meds either.
Isn't that awesome?
If you mess with her, I would be scared.
No, I won't.
So
I know her.
You threaten me, you threaten her, okay?
No, I think she'll throw you to the wolves. She's got 3 other boys now.
That makes 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and me, so yeah.
I wasn't counting you.
Well,
congratulations, Bradley. That I saw pictures of that, and beautiful little boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
looks like he's mama.
Yes.
That's
a
the
good
beauty.
thing.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I know. We have faces for radio.
We do. Well, you do.
And one thing about this, it made me think of, hanging around the hospital and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need a list about a hospital. Because it's not always, you think that's supposed to be a fun place to be.
Your list is about the hospital.
Hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
And I will back you up on this 100% because I have been there, and yes.
Thank you.
These young guys, they're still having babies.
Okay. Why are there so many handicap parking spots at the maternity ward, but only one expectant mother parking spot? Who do they think their primary customers are? Okay.
I don't know. I haven't noticed that.
When you're at the hospital, do trees and rocks and landscaping make you feel better? Would you rather just take a bulldozer and wipe that out and give me a spot to park a SUV or a big diesel pickup? Okay. That was my first thing.
Okay. Your first thing that irritated you somewhat.
Yes.
Okay. What's your next?
The next one is usually when you're at the hospital, if you're a patient in the hospital, you're in there for a reason and you're having some sort of issues. And you may be using the facilities more than normal, you know. And so if you're doing that, you would think that they would have high quality equipment in there and things for you to use, correct?
I think I'm following you.
I think toilet paper must have been on 11% sale discount, and it was actually mislabeled as sandpaper.
I should have read your notes before we started.
And you would think, really, at the maternity ward, they're giving these girls sandpaper. I just, it was like they're trying to cause more issues so you stay at the hospital and they're running a hotel, not a hospital.
Okay. Anything else?
That's only number 2.
Oh, my.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of sandpaper, why are they using double-ply sandpaper for bath towels? And why are the bath towels not even big enough to go around my 34-inch waist?
Why would you need to have a bath towel to go around your waist at the hospital when you weren't a patient?
Well, you stay there with your spouse, and then they have a little shower off to the side.
Okay.
And they give you this little towel, and they must charge you by the towel.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my own.
And keep in mind that this is the most expensive hotel room you will ever stay in.
And they wonder why health insurance is so high. Okay. Speaking of, using something to cover up.
Yeah.
Hospital gowns.
Yeah, I know about them.
It's like you're wearing a vinyl plastic tablecloth cover from the hardware store. And the first 2 we got were defective.
How could they be? They had a tear all the way up the back.
Well, no. She said tie this, and I'm like,
How?
I don't know. And then she had the nurse look, and I just kind of tied the two, and it was all cock-a-whammied sideways. And it was a defective. The string was broke. So they charged us for another one, and it was defective,
Well,
so
sure.
they charged us for another
That's
one.
okay. That's all right.
Okay.
You can afford this.
Okay, now we're going to go back in time. I remember years ago, my dad going to the hospital, and there'd be a line of wheelchairs with oxygen tanks out front.
Yeah?
And all those people be sitting there smoking a cigarette with oxygen tank.
Yeah, I remember.
And I'm like 5 years old.
Were you smoking?
No, I'm like 5 years old going, Dad, is that safe?
Well, it's, yeah.
Okay.
It happens.
It happens,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
When you don't feel good, you can get yourself back on the right track with a good night's sleep. How are you supposed to do that with nurses coming in your room every few hours and a bed that's made to inflict pain on everyone who lays in it?
That's where Miles comes in.
I know that one.
Well, and get this. We were in there and we went home the next day because she's like, I can't sleep here. We might as well just go home.
Because she's tough.
She is tough. She'll whoop your butt. But she said, I will just go home because we can sleep better. And the doc's like, yeah, those beds don't sleep very well. When I've had to stay over, I've tried to sleep in one of those, and they're not very comfortable.
Well, the fun thing is when the nurse comes in, and the nurse, like you said, every 2 hours, and the nurse is always like, now we want you to my wife, she'd say, well, we want you to be getting at least 4 hours sleep at a time. Well, how is that possible whenever you come in and like inject her with something, poke her and prod her every 2 hours?
Exactly.
I don't know. There's a lot of anger in this studio today over
I'm fired up.
There's animosity.
over
yes.
childbirth.
Oh. Well, Randy, you know how a good meal always makes you feel better?
It does.
And I think that people should always eat together, like our sales group should always eat together,
Yes,
try to
we
once
do
a
that.
week. Okay. The food at the hospital would be great if you are on like a weight loss program or if you have a condition where for some reason everything you eat tastes like strawberries.
Okay.
Because that food's horrible. I'm like,
Well, it isn't off the farm, probably, like what you're used to.
No.
And we get that.
okay.
But the bright spot is this new baby.
I know.
So it was all worth it, wasn't it?
We had fun, and no, I'm, digging on the hospital, but we loved our nurses, we loved our doctor. There's just, I'm always looking for the improvement. Here on our farm, we're always looking for some way to
Exactly.
improve.
No, I want to add one to that list. Can I add one?
I've still got one.
You
Go
still
ahead.
okay? You go ahead.
Okay, my last one is you call the dietary line to order the breakfast for your wife, and they put you on hold, and the recording says, if this is emergency, please hang up and dial 911. What's a 911 operator going to do when you tell them that room 321 is aching for bacon?
And you're at the hospital already.
Little Lion King humor in there from a 6-year-old aching for bacon.
Miles now has a list.
I was just going to say, I remember staying there and having a migraine while we were in the hospital. And the nurses, I said, hey, can you give me some ibuprofen? Just a couple of, they weren't able to do it. They can't give you, you're not their patient. They can't even give you ibuprofen or Advil. And it's like,
You're in the hospital and you can't even get an aspirin.
No, can't even get it. No. Because it would, it costs $200. So.
Well, and the other thing is, the hospital has that health initiative. And if you're like me and you're hopelessly addictive to caffeine where you have to have your Pepsi at certain times of the day or you get a headache and nobody wants to be around you anyway, they won't, if they don't have it in the vending machine, that's like, really? It's my addiction, but you're going to make me have withdrawal symptom in a situation that I really don't need to be having withdrawal symptoms.
Did you ask
in.
him for a caffeine IV at that point?
No, I brought a cooler.
He brought his own.
I brought a cooler. I asked the doc if we could do that, and she's like, I don't think nobody has, so I tried it. She told me to try it, and I walked in with a cooler.
Oh, my.
And they didn't even check it.
Only you, Bradley. Only you. That's a good list, but it was all worth it, wasn't it?
It was worth it, and it was fun.
We're coming.
And I'd go back to the hospital,
Sure
okay?
you would. Sure you would, after you have this new baby coming.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll have to deal with that afterwards because we're bringing up our good buddy Tony Washburn from King City, Missouri. We're going to talk about cattle, focus on the farmer.
Yep, I got
You're
one.
gonna read that
I'm going to read
today.
that one.
And we will be back with more Bull Sessions on 680 KFEQ.